It's time to get on up with Jam and Renee. And here's your hosts, James Arthur M. and Renee Culver.
Good morning and welcome to Backchannel.
We made it the only place to listen to, watch, and chat with hosts live right here on your Echo device. I am Renee Colbert.
And I'm James Arthur M. And you all are watching Get On Up with Jam and Renee. Here we are. Okay. All right, Renee. That was new. We did it.
We did it right before we started the show in the green room. You're like, listen, how would you like to be part of the intro? And I tripped over myself, went to the mirror, practiced my lines, said, this is it. This is your moment. And I think it went okay.
Yeah, you did great, Renee. I have a few notes, but other than that, I think your enthusiasm, 10, and then just minor adjustments there. Renee, what I love is you said yes. You could have been like,
Yes.
nah, I don't want to do this today. But
Oh,
Renee said yes. And I feel bad because I cut usually, Renee, you'll spend the intro dancing, drinking some coffee, doing some stretches,
We gotta
calling
grow
mom
up.
real quick. And
You
then
gotta
I was
grow
like,
up.
no, Renee, you got to get right into work.
You gotta drive the
You gotta
car this morning. Exactly. You're not just riding along in the back of the carpool. You gotta ride the car. And I'm happy to be here.
Yes, that's right. Right. Well, Renee, look who we've got here in the studio audience today. And by studio, I mean they're at home or in their car or under a tree. Not sure all the locations. It doesn't really tell you, except I do know that Viviana also here. Hello, good morning, everybody. Viviana is at the door. I love that. I love how specific the location is for Viviana. Sass from Colorado. Alex is here. Elena from Florida. Okay, depends. Nancy from Texas. Bella from North Virginia. We got Jeff. Jeff has a lot of things to do, as it says in his show title.
Yeah, no, Jeff, I appreciate this. That way, when we say what is going on with you today, Jeff's like, I put it in my title. I put it in my name.
There.
You know what's going on. I have a baseball game.
Y'all know how to read.
I gotta go. Yep. Oh, Get On Up. We're so excited to have you here. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. We did it. We made it. Famously known as Humpty Hump Day.
Hump Day. So
Hump Day.
What I love, well, we're just over the hump. We're there. And look, also, it's Viviana's first time on our show. Lovely. Still here. Great sign. Sass is also here. And if you've never been on the show, you've never been to a show on Backchannel, it's so great. You get to interact with us. All you have to do is enter your device. You just say, and then whatever comes after that, we'll see it. And we're going to comment on it. We might even stop the full show. We're going to talk about it. You are the other host, so feel free to chime on in, give us your thoughts, your opinions, in a kind way, always leading with that heart space, as I like to throw out there, because the world could use more love. So, yeah, into your Echo device, your Excella. I said her yesterday, and she didn't do anything.
She didn't say a thing. She's sleeping, taking a little nap.
Yeah.
She knows.
She missed her one.
If I were a device within a household, I'd be like, 24. You want me to be on 24/7? I certainly cannot. I can be. I know. You're gonna have to call my name numerous times. Wake me up, and then we'll see if I want to help you out or not. So I applaud them being so on it. I'd be sleeping right on through every request that you made of me.
Well, maybe Renee, you're not cut out to be an Excella. You're not cut out to be an Echo. Renee, you're very talented. You can do many things. And sometimes it's good. You freed your time and space to do other things. You're not going to be a robot lady telling people what the weather it is and all these things.
Very kind of you to say. I did take an assessment test in high school of various jobs which you'd be suited for, and an Excella did not make the cut.
Okay.
Not one word about it. Not one word.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, Renee, let's have the Get On Uppers here what they're getting themselves into today. So we're going to kick things off with our morning jam. So this is our theme song for the day, your theme song for the day. We want to know what is the song that is motivating you, getting you through the day. We're going to play Renee's. No, she's here for this segment. Favorite? Are we back to that? Okay.
Favorite.
Renee's
we
favorite.
We love
segment.
it more than anything. It's my favorite thing in the world.
And the award goes to Renee Colbert. We're going to play a celebrity birthday quiz. We're going to quiz you on some of the celebrities who were born today and are celebrating their birthdays. And then we will do our Women's History Moment. Ada Mae Wong, you'll learn about her, Asian American actress in early days of Tinseltown. And then we'll close out the first hour with What Would You Do Wednesday, where Renee has got some scenarios and she's gonna be like, what would you all do? And
a lot of
sometimes
scenarios.
it's a lot of scenarios. Okay, I can't wait.
Just to tease
Should
it, there was a cringe moment, the likes of which you've never seen on Wheel of Fortune. Got a little question about Anderson Cooper. What's he doing? Would you have an arcade in your house? All kinds of things that I need to know. Well, this is what happened, but what would you do? Because I would do the opposite in most cases. So I'm curious about that. Yeah,
okay.
I know. We'll see. We'll see what the Get On Uppers say. We'll see what the verdict is, what the Get On Uppers say.
Okay.
And then after that, we will be bringing you the news because that is what we promise here on Get On Up. The news will happen at some point. We'll do it with the theme of, well, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? Now, I did say in Liv's show, this has potential for getting that we are going to do a what did you think of this type of news. So we'll be curious to hear your thoughts on that. And the James, everybody's favorite segment, Whilin' or Working It, wherein you give us scenarios that are happening and you let us know, well, does this seem legit or does this seem a little nuts?
Yeah. And then we'll close out with Wednesday Wisdom. And what are you watching? Well, Renee, love you so much. Renee was just like, I'm done talking.
All done. I'll finish.
You didn't want to finish what we're going to talk about in the second half of the show? I was literally about to be like, oh, Renee has one more segment to talk about. Let me get some coffee. Oh, silence. She's done. Okay.
She's done.
She's done talking.
She's done talking. She's done talking. I was feeling like you were like, well, I don't have any more lines. And I was like, well, I should give him a line.
I was literally in my head. I was like, "Oh, this is so nice." Renee and I have this really great rhythm. I'm doing the first half, and she's doing the second half. I'm not saying a word. This is going so perfectly. And then you're just like, "And Jam, would you like to contribute?
Do you want to say your line?" So sorry, I misread that. Sorry, I thought your drinking was just like, well, I guess there's nothing for me to do here. And I was like, no, you can't.
Renee, I can't wait for us to play poker one day because you misread all of my signs. All of my signs.
Not true. I'm known for my emotional intelligence. I am the best at reading people.
But you've got but there's so many times that I'm just looking at something. You're like, oh, you want me to shut up? I'm like, no, I have a huge monitor that I'm looking at, and I'm looking at like the next word I might say. I was looking at my coffee.
I love it. Get on uppers.
Right here, focused the entire time. Right there.
The same as I give you. Never. Always. Am I ever looking at the screen? Never.
Oh, so good. Well, Renee, it's our first segment. It is our morning jam of the day. Get on uppers. What is your morning jam for today? What is your theme song that's just getting you into the zone, getting your feet to tapping, or maybe it's just like speaking to your heart and your soul. You're just like, I want to dance with somebody because you're alone and you want to dance with somebody. And I get it.
Maybe you do. We would love to hear the music that you're listening to this morning. I told you yesterday that the Chicks tickets are going on sale, which is very exciting for me. Been a fan of them for a long, long time. I'm Not Ready to Make Nice is my anthem. Anytime I go through a breakup, you were very kind to be like, no, you listen to Adele, you listen to your various breakup things. Me sprint to the Chicks, I'm Not Ready to Make Nice, and usually create war with whoever has crossed my path. So couldn't be a bigger fan of them. Great news, got tickets. I got tickets yesterday.
Renee got tickets to something. This is big, Renee, and this is, I think, your first on Getting Up. Y'all in historically, Renee goes to get tickets, excited as can be. She can't wait. Here's my money, and they're like sold out. It was she couldn't get tickets to the Super Bowl the weekend of. She couldn't get Dolly Parton's cake mix when it launched, and she couldn't get what was a color coordinated stylist.
I couldn't. Somebody was going to help me figure out how to do my hair and my clothes so that my face looked better. couldn't get in. They
Okay.
wouldn't let me in. Uh,
You know, the universe was saying,
yes.
you don't need it, Renee. You are perfect right the
Right.
way you are. That's what it
It's very
was.
kind. It's very kind of you. But the theater that they're performing at I can walk to it. So I think my sort of
Ooh.
drive to not have to look for parking was the motivation behind getting these tickets. So very,
I
very
think you
exciting.
might even say
Yes.
your walk to get tickets
Come on.
because you're
If
not
I
driving
walk to get
anywhere.
tickets,
You're not
if I
driving
walk to get
anywhere.
tickets was very strong because I can just skip to Malou on up to the Greek Theater right here in Los Angeles,
Can,
California.
can you please skip to the theater? I would love nothing more. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
you should. And in fact, what do we
guaranteed.
think, Get on Uppers? Skipping? Do we love it? Do we hate it? Is it overrated? What are our thoughts on skipping? When's the last time you skipped? I got to tell you, I'm a big fan of skipping. I don't know why adults don't do it more often. You get to where you need to go much faster. You can
Yeah,
cover more ground, and then you can do it more. Like, I think you can skip longer than you can run, and
I
you
would.
travel more.
Yeah,
I don't know why humans don't do skipping more often. Like, you're late for the bus and you just skip, and it keeps you in a good mood.
couldn't agree
So I'm
more.
a big fan. I'm a big fan. Skipping.
Nothing will. Well, that's not true. I'm sure there's various things to do. Among the things that can change your mood quickly, skipping is
Yeah.
great. It's so
Mm-hmm.
fun. We love it so
Yeah.
much. I couldn't agree more. If when I become a millionaire, I don't think that's in the cards. I don't think it's in the cards. But if it were, I would have the very first. You know how they have various 5Ks for skipping 5K. No running,
Ooh, Renee,
only
that's a
skipping.
great idea. I don't think
You're
we
only
need to
allowed to skip.
wait. I think we can just start it now, and maybe we'll make some
See.
money off of it and become millionaires.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it so much. Both Carlos and Juan have joined us. We're so happy to have you guys here. We are curious how you feel about skipping. I'm also curious how you feel about the chicks. Do we have any other chicks fans in here that like that? I bring that up because it is What Is Your Morning Jam Wednesday, and Jim, this isn't catered to you, but you will think that it is. My favorite performance of the chicks, you would think, is Not Ready to Make Nice, but it's not. It's their daddy lessons on the
With
VMA
Beyonce.
with the one Beyonce. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. You
I
disagree.
make
You didn't love
No, I'm
it. Oh,
making that face
oh yeah, yes.
because
Yes.
my song, my jam of the day is a
Uh-oh.
Beyonce
Oh,
song.
come
So
on.
that's why I'm
There
making
we
my face
go.
because I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, Renee and
Oh,
I
it's
have
Beyonce Day.
done it again.
It's
Where
Beyonce Day.
we're so synced. You mentioned the chicks, and your favorite performance is the Beyonce one, and I'm about to bring you a Beyonce jam. Like,
Which
come
we
on,
love. We
that's
love so much.
synchronicity.
It
If that's not
truly is.
synchronicity, I don't know what that word
I don't know
means.
what this. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But it's so interesting to watch because the chicks are like they have been through a lot. As far as they got canceled, then brought back, then canceled, then brought back. And to watch them perform with Beyonce, you would think they are like steeled. But they're so nervous. They're so
Mm,
nervous.
mhm, mhm.
Who among us wouldn't be? Who among us wouldn't be? But it's very sweet to watch. But it's great. The performance is phenomenal. So that is my anthem for the day. I love it so much. Daddy Lessons, Beyonce and the
Oh,
Chicks.
daddy
It will be amazing.
lessons. Can you give us a few of the lyrics so we know why it's resonating with your heart?
I just like the beat. I mean,
Oh, okay.
it's
It's not
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you're like, "Mm, my dad." 'Cause
No,
that song is really heavy about,
it's
that.
very heavy. Yeah, yeah.
Interesting because Daddy is also so my song is Find Your Way Back off of the Gift album that she did for The Lion
Okay.
King, where Beyonce was I mean, she gets so into character. It's similar to like when she when she did Dreamgirls.
Right.
It's when she wrote her B-Day album. And she felt like there was like, this was the voice for her character who didn't get to say anything throughout the movie.
Right.
Because she's not really as written. She's no Effie. What about me? She doesn't have that. Um, but then like similar, she was doing the Lion King. She's like, I need to buy an album, and it's called The Gift because it's such a gift to listen. Anybody can listen to this album, but she wrote this song for like Black people, her kids, like, and it is such a uplifting Black Power anthem, the whole entire album. And I mean, if you haven't listened to it, watch the Disney Plus Black is King. It is so brilliant, so good. And I'm in a space where I've been having a lot of subtle microaggressions in terms of racism happening in my life a lot. And it
Right.
was like, I just need some like uplifting Black empowerment music. So the other day I made a playlist. It's got that. It's got the Black Panther soundtrack by Kendrick Lamar. Did a Black Panther soundtrack. So I have that and some other stuff, some Tupac, some Janet. But anyways, there's a song called "Find Your Way Back," and it's about bringing you back to your center, that the world, it will drive you crazy, but I say this, like, her opening line is, "Daddy used to take me walking down the street." So she starts off with daddy, and your song was daddy issues.
Look at that, daddy. Yes, daddy lessons, daddy issue. Either way, it was, yes, the exact same.
Call it daddy
Could have
issues.
been called daddy issue. Could have been called daddy issues. Either way, could have called either way.
Oh, I hope Hank's not on today. Is Hank here?
He's not here. He's not here. He
Good.
showed up once.
Oh
and
yeah,
never came
Renee, you
back.
love that song called "Daddy Issues." Texting you immediately. But she said, there's a few lines I want to empower you with today. He said, "Find your way back. Big world, but you got it, baby. Find your way back. Don't let this life drive you crazy. Find your way back. Come back home from street lights on. Find your way back. Find your way back."
Yeah.
Do dance break. But it's like, yeah, this world's gonna drive you crazy. And just as one really beautiful line, she goes, "Circle of life, but one day I might not make it. Circle of life, but one day I might not make it." And it's so beautiful because, like, one day you're not gonna make it around that full circle of
one
life.
day,
But that's okay.
yeah.
That's okay.
It's all right.
I'm
It's
gonna
all
become a
right.
palm tree.
And we're all happy to have it years and years and years down the road. I love that. I will also make that my song for the day. And then I'm sorry. I am so sorry that it's been such a tough time. But I'm glad that you have
Music.
music.
You are one of the people who is not driving me crazy. Where if it was just you, I'd be like, this song doesn't apply to me. Renee, if it was just you and Sarah, like, you are the opposite of driving me crazy. You drive me crazy in the sense of, like, the Britney Spears song. You drive me crazy. I just can't sleep. I'm so excited. I'm in too deep. Renee, you drive me crazy, but it feels all right. Renee, thinking of you keeps me up all night. That's the kind of
that was a big
you weren't ready
finish.
for that.
Finish, and I loved it. That's
the kind of crazy you drive me, Renee.
Well,
the Britney
and right
Spears
back at
kind,
you,
but not
and
like
right back at you. You're so loved, so loved. But I think just in general, when your friend's hurting and there's nothing you can do about it, sucks. But I'm glad you got this song. But
yeah,
hopefully the song can.
You're thinking about my dance moves.
I am. I hope that
I
you
think
do it
the
again.
sure
Yes.
look. I wish we could do an instant replay. The sure look of Renee just bopping around, doing some backup, and then when I hit the move, pure joy and judgment.
No judgment. No.
Oh, I didn't mean judgment. I meant pure
okay.
joy and enjoyment. But I said the
enjoyment. I loved it. We absolutely loved it. Please continue to finish every segment with a pose. And then recover in heavy breathing. I also love that part at the end of a pose. It's the best. It's the best.
All right. Well, that's the end of that segment. I always love it when like TV shows or movies or something will do like a big dance number.
Yeah.
And when they acknowledge, because usually in movies and musicals, they just hit a pose and no one's breathing. But I always love it when like they hit it and they're like,
yeah.
They look around. Oh, we still in it?
Okay. Oh, so still okay. All right. This is still something is happening. Did you remind me? Do you watch Search Party? There's a million references that I can use to tell you the actor that I'm thinking of.
I am watching After Party,
which also works. Party. So John Early, are you familiar with that actor? Sure.
I think if I Googled him, am I allowed to Google? Is this a quiz?
Sure, no. He's the other. So there's two detectives investigating it. One is the good, hilarious one, and yeah, I'm trying not to give away.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and the other is the like tattletale. So he's a tattletale, but he on his Instagram will often do big dance, but he does the big dance numbers in fun of like the places that he hates, like the White House when it was just, it's really, really funny because he'll do it in front of places that are just like no, and then he'll do a dance number right in front of it, and he always ends on like the big deep breath.
And this is in Search Party.
Oh, not in search. It's on his Instagram. It's his like his bit
Ah,
that he
okay.
does,
I
and
was
it's
like,
very
wow, I
very
don't
funny.
know how they're fitting that into the plot line. I've seen just a
Yeah,
couple episodes, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's
Well,
great.
want to
Show thing.
welcome Isaiah and Jean to the show. Perfect timing because we're about to switch on over to Happy Birthday
Day to
Celebrities.
you.
Happy
Happy
Birthday
birthday,
Celebrities.
celebrities.
Happy
Happy birthday,
birthday. I can't
celebrities.
believe we've been doing
Mhm.
this segment for over a month, and I just now figured out happy birthday instead of to ya
To you,
celebrities. We have a
celebrities.
song.
Well, in
We have a
your
song.
defense, the
And then
syllables are off. It isn't quite match up, but you made it work, and that's what we love.
oh, you're
to
right.
Yeah,
Celebrities. We
celebrities.
gotta rush it.
Yeah,
To ya. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yep, yep, yep.
celebrities. But you found out you
Yeah.
could, if you wanted to match it perfectly, you could say celebs. But I like your way. I think you nailed it.
Birthday celebs. Oh yeah, you can slow it
Ah,
down. We got
happy
options. We got
birthday,
options.
celebs.
Ooh.
We'll
Okay,
workshop
Broadway baby. I heard that
it.
vibrato.
She
Renee,
regretted it immediately.
don't show
Yeah,
me any talent. I will Gypsy Rose Lee you so hard,
love you. No
you'll
talent.
think I was Chris Jenner. A lot of supportive mom references. But I gotta tell you, out of the
Yes.
momagers, Chris Jenner is probably okay. We have to do a rank it next
Oh,
week. Sarah, please
ooh,
take a note.
momagers.
We're gonna
Yeah.
do momagers
Yes.
because some are better than others. Okay, make a
That's true.
note. We're doing
True.
it.
Now,
And
are we
Women's
doing it
History
based
Month.
on right, which I like. Are we doing it based on likability of the momager or success of their kids?
I
We'll
think it's
figure it
however
out.
your
We'll find
brain
out.
yeah, we'll figure it out, and then because
Okay.
you can explain it, again,
Okay.
you explained Mandy Moore, why she was top of your
I can't believe it. It's
list.
still she's beaming with pride over there. I won Beyonce. She told everybody yesterday. She's so excited. She's so proud of herself.
I saw that Instagram post, and it was liked by Renee.
Great job, proud of you, Mandy.
Okay, so it is time for celebrity birthdays. So y'all, the way it works is we're gonna say some trivia about these celebrities, and
Mhm.
you're gonna help Renee give a guess onto what the answer is. So
Famously,
you
never know.
can that's not true. You knew like
Yesterday was good.
70%.
Yesterday was
You
good.
had a great day, Renee. A great
Thank you.
day. It was killing it. Even the bonus ones are like, I don't know, triangle. And it was like, yes, that's exactly what she used to
That's
play. It was
it.
the
No
triangle.
kidding. No kidding. Yeah, you just gotta calm down and use logic. And then sometimes you're like, no, I still don't know, even if you calm down and use logic.
Yeah, put it on a pillow.
Eh,
All right. So you can just enter your device, say whatever you think the answer is. All right. So Renee, your first one, it's Rebel Wilson's birthday. She's turning
Happy
42 today.
birthday, Rebel
Little
Wilson.
little
We love
March
her.
baby. She's
The
great.
breakaway
She's
star of
great.
Pitch Perfect, unless that's a
Mhm.
thing. We'll
Okay,
find out.
we're saying some facts already.
We'll
I bet we need
find
to change some of that.
out.
Okay, she was the breakaway star in Pitch Perfect. Absolutely. Question though, can you name her breakout role in there's a comedy that she was in and it was kind of her breakout role. She wasn't a star
Yep.
in it. Breakout role. It was 2011 and this movie proved that oh my gosh, women can be funny in raunchy comedies and make
Th-
tons of money.
Sure can.
Surprise world.
My favorite
Can you name that
movie
movie?
of all time. We love it so much. But Bella, Vivian, Carlos, Isaiah. So what do we think? I am cheating because it's my favorite movie, but
That's not cheating.
do
No,
what do
knowing
you?
facts isn't
Well,
cheating.
that's
Like
fair.
if I'm
That's
like,
fair.
"What's 2 plus 2?" You're not like, "No, it's cheating because I know
It
it."
could be this. It
I
could
took
be. It
math.
could be this. So if you know the answer to this, what was Rebel Wilson's one of her first films that
Yeah,
she had a
yeah.
breakout role in? Let us know. You just say to your device, say, I think it's this. I'll cover this one. Bridesmaids. It was great.
Bridesmaids,
She
yes.
wore
I s
bees on
I
her
s
tattoo, and it was hilarious.
I saw that movie twice in one weekend. The second time, it was Sunday fun day. Had gotten really, really drunk and met my friends. Brought a beer. This is my 20s. Brought a beer, like a huge tall can, into the theater.
Uh-huh.
Welcome, Susan. We're just talking about drinking in the movie theaters.
Yes, as you should.
Good morning. I knew where all the funny parts were going to happen, so I was laughing before everybody, and then
I love it.
laughed after everyone was done laughing. And it's like a packed
Yeah.
theater, and then let out one of those ha 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 Like every time, and my friends were just like, they'll never let me forget this. This is like over 10 years ago.
Well,
Yeah.
no, you brought because there is nothing better than involved theater. It's the best. When you laugh, you laugh. When you cry, you cry. You got the whole team together. You just
Yay.
started the ball rolling, made
That's
people feel
fun.
comfortable that they could laugh and sigh at their
Thank
leisure.
you. Thank you, Renee. Appreciate that. I do have a follow-up question. One fun
Yeah,
fact is, I don't know if you know this, she actually almost became a lawyer. She has a degree in a BA in arts
did
and
not
law.
know that. Look at that.
But okay, so she's not won an Oscar, but she
Right.
has found so much love at this other award show. She's been nominated 5 times with 2 wins, one in 2013 for Best Musical Moment in Pitch Perfect, and one in 2016 for Best Kiss in Pitch Perfect 2. Can you name the award show where she's getting all this love?
Sure. So I think let's use process of elimination, guys. What award show has best kiss in it? Where is that happening? And then from that, I think we can back it up and be like, okay, well, in that case, I think we are probably talking about the MTV Movie Awards is where she does
Look at
so well.
Renee crushing it today. It's
The-
so funny. When I
the-
wrote this, I was like, oh, this one might be a little tough. But then when I read it out loud, when I got to Best Kiss, I was like, okay.
All right, that helps. That helps. That sounds
Not a
good.
Golden Globe.
That's so helpful, though. I think occasionally you can figure out which award show it is based off of what the category is. That one was
Very
easy,
true.
but sometimes you can be like, yeah, because Golden Globes they have a few weird ones too.
Yeah, I mean they all do.
Right.
Oh right. Ooh, it's her Jesus birthday because she's turning 33. Nathalie Emmanuel. Nathalie
Okay.
Emmanuel.
Happy
Can you
birthday,
name? I've got
Natalie Emanuel.
2 questions for you on her.
Okay.
Can
Let's
you
see.
name? She was on this HBO series that just
Okay.
took over the world,
Okay.
and you might have only seen 1 season of this show.
Ooh, interesting. Might
It was
have
on
only seen it.
HBO.
It was on HBO, and I've only seen
Yes.
1 season. Is it
Yes.
HBO Max? Is
No,
it
it was on
Search
HBO.
Party?
The show's no longer still on.
Okay.
No, don't lock in your
Oh,
guess.
okay.
Don't lock in
Okay.
a guess now.
No, not saying it. Not saying it.
She played
Okay.
an interpreter, and it was very old times, we might say. Not a modern
Okay.
show.
Possibly. I see. Oh, this is a very good hint that you're giving me. And your memory is phenomenal. Your memory is absolutely incredible. Get on Uppers Brett from Colorado. So excited to see you. I
Oh, I can give you
think.
another hint. You
Yes.
might have
No,
only
I've got it.
seen the 7th season of the show.
So get on Uppers. I am nothing but a bandwagon fan. I am just in pain when people are talking about something that I don't understand. It is the most excruciating thing in the world to me. So if, let's say, a bunch of coworkers are talking all about Game of Thrones and I want to actively participate, I will hop in on the 7th season and actively watch with the level of enthusiasm people who watched all 7 seasons will do it. So I think the clue you may have only watched 1 season of this tips us off that the sweet 33rd birthday, right?
Yep, 33rd.
Goes
I
to
believe it's pronounced Nathalie Emmanuel.
Nathalie Emmanuel was in Game of Thrones.
That's
Final answer.
true.
Lock in.
Yes, that is it. You did it, Renee. You did it. What I love though
Well,
is like
thanks to your
now
clues.
now I'm understanding that because you weren't watching Euphoria, then you watched like all of the episodes in like 1 week, which
Yeah.
wow. I bet you thought that you needed to go to rehab or that like you were like messy
It
with
messed
your
me up.
friends, and you
It
weren't.
messed
You
me up.
weren't.
Yeah.
But what's so interesting is that you didn't decide to like catch up on all of Game of Thrones. You just jumped in on the final
Yeah.
season.
Because in my very weak defense, Euphoria had 2 seasons. That's it.
That's
That's
true.
easy. That's
Yeah,
easy.
that was
Game of
easy.
Thrones is
Yeah.
and third. Yes, but I think it is partially. Oh, I want to be included, and partially, oh, I want to connect with my friend on this. They seem to love it. Let me do the research that I could properly weigh in. Probably more.
Yep.
Don't leave me out.
I love it. It's so cute. I love it. All right, follow-up question. What
Yes.
franchise that's a movie franchise
Okay.
did she join? She joined this movie franchise in film 7, and she's been in film 7, 8, and 9, and will also be in the 10th and final film of this movie franchise. It's
So
like,
what movie
yeah,
has 10 at this point?
10
My first
movies.
guess
Yeah.
is Fast and the Furious. Do they have 10 that are coming out? Are they up to 10? And are there any other franchises that are getting their way to 10? Because it can't be Marvel, because that's too many.
Yep.
Can't be Lord of the Rings, because that's too many spinoffs. Yeah, I'm gonna go Fast and the Furious.
Wow, Renee, I was a little nervous. I was like, she
Yes.
only has 3 get on uppers to help her at this point. They're out of here. You did
They're not
it.
gonna be
Yes.
here.
10 Fast and the Furious movies is such a long
Great.
running franchise.
Yeah.
I used to
impressive.
clean up to the movie, that soundtrack, my first job. I was in the movie theater, 16, and would clean up to that soundtrack and love it. I will say it's one of the movies that it's one of the most diverse franchises. It's like when you watch the movie, like everyone's there, and then it makes billions of dollars because, surprise, people around the world would like to see people that look like them on
Exactly.
screen.
Exactly. And the message of family is
it's
in there.
family. Have you seen a Fast and the Fred? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Renee,
I'm not caught up.
you
I was
have to
obsessed
marry
with
me platonically.
Yes, platonically. Please marry me platonically. That would be after we get through all 28 Marvel films.
Can we
Maybe after
do
that
some
we could
Fast
do
and the
Fast and the
Furious?
Furious. I would love a rewatch
I'm on
of that.
board.
Love it.
I'm on
Because
board.
what was the absolutely ridiculous? Didn't like somebody fly a car off of a building onto a helicopter, onto a plane, onto another? Like there was some sort of stunt that was just like, and you'll go ahead and believe that.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Yep. So I think, after we're done in September, we'll switch on over to the Fast and the Furious. We'll have 10 weeks of films.
Great. I can't wait. I
And
genuinely would
we
love
will
that.
see the evolution of women having better roles through the films as it goes on. It does.
Great.
It gets better. It gets better.
Great. I love it.
All right.
Yes.
Look whose 70th birthday it is. It's Lorraine Newman.
Happy
turning
birthday,
70.
Lorraine Newman.
Can you name the sketch show she joined in 1975?
Lorraine Newman, 1975. So that's, I think SNL started then. And unless it was the Second City version. Okay. Yeah, let's go with SNL. Do we like SNL?
She's on fire, as they used to say. She's on fire. SNL. I gotta tell you.
But you tipped me off. Had you said late night comedy, it would have been Letterman. Sketch show
it was not that. Sketch show. Okay, good. All right. Now I know how to get these clues in there. I don't know who this woman is. I'm going to tell you. I don't know. Didn't even Google her. I just read this one from Sarah, and it was like, cool.
Guarantee that she was a pioneer in comedy in a way that we should all respect and love and appreciate. But
maybe we should do a women's history moment on her. Should we learn more about her?
Honestly, yeah, we should. You know what? I've got a lot of books on women in comedy. I could probably flip a page and read something from that.
Well, I would love a women in comedy segment at some point in this month. We're early on in the month, Renee. I would love to hear it. I would love to hear it.
Okay.
All right. It's John Bon Jovi's 59th birthday. Hi.
Look at that silver fox.
Yeah. That's me doing the equivalent of what you're doing.
That's perfect.
COVID.
Bless you.
Jesus.
Oh, bless you.
Is that the right thing to do now?
Stacey were here, she would be so proud of you for covering your mouth. Yes.
And just yelling COVID.
COVID.
All right, finish these lyrics that he wrote. Oh, we're halfway there.
Whoa, living on a prayer. Take my hand. Oh, whoa.
Living on a prayer.
Great.
We're doing such a good job. This might get blocked on YouTube.
And honestly, yeah, I think so. I think so. It's just going to be taken down.
Block people on. Yeah, it's going to be taken down. Yeah,
sounds exact same, and we'll have to file a petition. I know it sounds like we were actually playing the music, but it turns out we were just singing it, and we aren't that good. And so that's why your algorithm caught it. They will let us know. I have two thoughts. The first one is a while back, 2 minutes ago when he sneezed and said COVID, there was a guy in my neighborhood, and because it was so tense and it was so scary, and so this is not going to sound funny now, but think of like how like we all were in 2020. So there was a guy who had like legitimate allergies, and so he would walk up and down the street sneezing and then screaming, "It's not COVID. I'm sorry. It's not COVID. I'm sorry." And I'm not doing it justice, but it was comforting and funny, and I appreciated it.
I am notorious for choking on water in the gym specifically, because I'm like, I'm moving so fast that I will drink and choke on my beverages all the time, where it's like, slow down.
Of course.
So I'm at the gym and I will be choking all the time, and I'm just like, oh, like the gym is like, you know, it's a scary place when someone's coughing. You're like, oh man, what's happening? Should I be here?
So do you announce it's not COVID? I'm sorry.
I shouldn't. Gonna now.
Okay.
Gonna now start.
No, I don't think you
I
need
do
to.
want to welcome Emerald to the show. We are playing Celebrity Birthday Quiz, and Renee so far is doing so well getting these answers right. It is, and you can chime on in. You just say into your device what you think the answer is. So it's Daniel Craig's 54th birthday. Your trivia question is, as well as James Bond, he was starred in this murder mystery thriller based on a hit book of trilogy series, but his iteration never made it past the first film. Do you know what movie he was in?
Yes. Something with knives, right?
Mm.
No, it's not that one. Something with guns. Something with pipe cleaners. Pipe cleaners is usually how you murder people.
Oh, it's so interesting. Daniel Craig doesn't have any tattoos, girl. Oh, I love Daenerys.
Girl with the dragon tattoo?
Oh my God, Renee, you did it!
Looky there. Looky there.
I didn't even get to my next. I was gonna be like, oh wow, Daenerys, she was the mother of dragons.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Who am I thinking of? First off, what was the name of the movie with knives? Knives Out. And was he in that?
One. He was in it, but it's not.
He was in it.
Book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And he did like the foghorn leghorn voice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was in the. I've read the first book of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It's 3, and then it's also it's a Swedish book. It's very intense, really great series. I'm sad that they didn't continue making them because it was really good. But
do you know why they didn't?
They released it around Christmas. Well? It didn't make any money, but they released this movie around Christmas, and it is not a Christmas movie. It is like no, it was very intense.
Interesting. This is inside baseball, but contract-wise, you were usually like when you sign up for a franchise, you were in for the franchise no matter what. It is ironclad, and you cannot get out. So I wonder how that contract shook out, how they dissolved.
Well, I think it's always like stipulating if it makes money. Like he would have to do it, but he would have to do it, but they're not. They don't have.
But they aren't obligated, and they have that dollar amount of under the condition that it makes this. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Two more to Daniel Craig. Yes.
It's Chris Martin's 45th birthday. Chris Martin's 45th birthday.
Chris Martin.
So, Chris Martin, lead singer of
U2.
Coldplay. Great. That wasn't the trivia question. So, off to a great
I just
start.
wanted to set you up for success, and that you think right now we're starting with I think he's in U2. That's our baseline. That's where we're starting. So,
okay, great. All right. Oh my God. You're thinking of Bono, but it's funny, people do equate him very much to Bono. He does a lot of like good. He's the new Bono, really.
Good.
So we hear what you're saying, Renee. So his band Coldplay. How many albums do they have? How many? I know you're a huge Coldplay fan.
Yes. No, I would love to tell you. And I do know this.
Really?
They have 7.
Oh, Renee, what? I appreciate the enthusiasm. It is a swing and a miss, but I also did not realize until I looked at this Wikipedia page how many albums they had. I would have said 7 as well. Renee, 9. 9 albums.
9 albums.
9 albums.
Coldplay.
So Parachutes. Parachutes, A Rush of Blood to the Head, X and Y, Viva La Vida, Milo Exoloto. I never know how to pronounce that. Ghost Stories,
Okay.
And this is about where I fell off. Ghost Stories. That was my last one that I did. A
Mhm.
Head Full of Dreams, Everyday Life, and Music of the
Okay.
Spheres. I don't think I knew
Okay.
the last two had came out. They released one last year, 2021. I love Coldplay so much that last night doing research for this and was looking up a question. I was like, oh, how many albums do they have? You know what I
Yeah.
started doing for the next hour?
What's
Listening to
that?
Coldplay.
Of course you did. Because it's
I love
comforting.
them.
Because it's
Very comforting music.
comforting.
It's very
That
comforting.
Coldplay is the wait, what's the most comforting song that people play? The like
It was all yellow. That's a good one. I like that.
maybe okay. Yeah.
That one, yeah. The
I love
scientist.
that one.
In my place, the lines are sooner to replace. I was lost for you. I didn't think I knew a single
Yeah.
Coldplay lyric off
Okay.
the top of my head, but you know,
I can't think of the one. I love both of those. I
you're
can't think of
like
the one I'm thinking
neither
of,
of
but
those.
when I bust into a segment, and it will be abrupt, later on in the show, then that's when I thought of it.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Like to your point, they've been with us for so long, so it
Yeah.
connects like high school, all these different points in your life, and I have attachments to different albums and different songs. So love Coldplay.
This is very, very, very kind of you too. And I will miss you. I will fix you. I will
Oh, and
there,
I
and I will
will
fix you.
fix you. Yeah, that
There we
is
go.
what
Yeah.
that is.
Okay.
Oh, that's beautiful. That one's off of their X and Y soundtrack. I
Okay.
have definitely like driven crying to that song before.
Of
Like I
course you
absolutely have.
have. Of course you
Lights
have.
will guide you
Were
home.
you a big Dancing with the Stars or So You Think You Can Dance fan? Or are you currently?
Not as much as I wish I was. I love
Okay.
the idea of it. It's just like it starts and I can't keep up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
watch YouTube clips of it.
I
Yeah.
don't think Mandy Moore choreographed it, but there is one dancing So You Think You
Not
Can
that
dance
Mandy
dance.
Moore, the
Not that Mandy
dancing
Moore, the
Mandy
Mandy Moore
Moore.
that you worked with, Mandy Moore that you were an assistant to. Not Mandy Moore, Beyonce Mandy Moore. Mandy Moore, the choreographer.
And that happens to
um,
Mandy Moore all the time. They're like the singer Mandy Moore. They're like, "Oh,
yeah.
congratulations on your Oscar for choreographing La La Land." And it's like, again, Mandy Moore was like, oh, yeah, 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 Candy, don't make me dance again. So much, in fact, I'm sorry, I gotta get to your point in
Yes.
just a
No,
moment.
please.
So much,
No,
in fact,
please.
that they were like, there's a song that she has, "Little white panties in my pocket, keep me warm," and there's a dance break. And instead of her dancing, she sits down and watches the little children dance. They're like, "Mandy, take a seat." And during the dance break, there's like children dancing instead because she's
Cute.
like, not getting me to do
I'll
it.
take it though. I'll take it. She's a great actor. She's great. She's kind. She seems like a great mom. We love her. We love her.
Wait, what were you gonna
Um,
say though? Sorry, I
so
derailed
I
you.
don't think it was Mandy Moore. I think it was Mia Michaels. Do you know that choreographer?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think it was a Mia Michaels number who did "I Will Fix It," and it will level you to watch it.
Mm,
Because sometimes I think it's about breakups. Sometimes I think it's about people dying.
mm-hmm.
Sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
They do
Okay.
write about death a lot in their songs. Yellow is about, I think, cancer. Anyways. All right.
Mhm.
Last birthday. Last birthday. It is Terrence Howard Dallas.
I love it. I love it, Bryce
I
Dallas
feel like,
Howard. Happy
yes,
birthday to Bryce Dallas Howard. We're
it
so happy
is
to have you.
Bryce Howard Dallas. I'm looking at it. I still can't say it. Terrence Dallas Bryce's Howard's birthday.
Okay.
Um, why do I struggle with it? Terrence Howard
Sometimes it's hard. Right.
Dallas's birthday. Dallas
Okay.
Bryce Howard Terrence. Her dad's birthday was just yesterday. Ron Howard.
Look at that, 2 little birthday
Remember?
babies in one house. Well, a lot of Pisces there.
A lot of
No,
water
sounds
going
true.
on in there. All right. Can you name the 1950s show based on the marketing world that she was all up in?
She in Mad Men? No, she was in Mad
According,
Men.
apparently, I
Huh.
didn't. Yeah, that's what
Okay.
Sarah found for us. Yeah. Follow up
Happy
question because you
birthday. Yes.
blew through that one. What M. Night Shyamalan film did she was her real break? It was her breakout role. She's been in like 2 M. Night Shyamalan films, but this was her
Yes.
first one, and this was like her breakout one.
Yeah. I think it was, well, I'm gonna get this wrong. Was it The Village?
You didn't get it wrong at all. You got it
Okay.
100% correct and right. You did it. Yeah, the
Look at that.
villain.
I got who was she in Mad Men? Bryce Dallas Howard. Dallas Howard. Howard.
Mad
I
Men.
believe it.
I don't know.
I'm
Didn't
just rolling
didn't
my
watch a
yeah.
single episode of it.
I'm sure you.
She
I'm
or
sure
if
you.
it's not her, it could be Jessica Chastain, who they people like the media outlets often confuse the two of them, and
Happens to
ask them
all of us.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. I get it. I
Yep.
get it. Okay. All right.
It,
Great.
she's
I
also
love this is
directed. She's also a director. She's directed episodes for The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett,
looky there.
following her dad's
That's
footsteps.
crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know if maybe she wasn't in Mad Men. Listen, she should have been. Let's go with she should have
Okay.
been in Mad
All
Men.
right.
Great.
There it
Great.
is. All right. All right. We'll have a meeting about that. All right, Renee, it's time for you. Oh, wait, actually, it's time for a little bit behind, but we'll make it up. It's all
Catch
good.
up. We'll catch
It
up.
is Women's History Month,
Pew, pew,
ladies.
pew. Pew, pew,
Or as I like to
pew.
call it is Ladies Month, and they're feeling right. And it is Ladies Month, Ladies Month. All right, ladies, get
Yes.
information. All right, today we're going to be celebrating Anna May Wong. Anna May
Yes.
Wong, actress. She was born in 1905, and from 1905 to 1961. She kind of died a little bit young. If the math is in 50s. What is that, about 50s? Yeah. So she is the first Chinese American movie star. She was the first Chinese American movie star. She was born in 1905 in Los Angeles, California, to second generation immigrants. She was named originally TU Song at birth, meaning Willow Frost, but she later changed it to a more American sounding name in the times. She changed it to Anna May to help her fit into the movie industry. So she was obsessed. She was absolutely obsessed with the film industry. It just like captivated her. And she just had this persistence about her. She was like, okay, you're gonna give me a part in your movie. And they were like, "Oh, okay, all right,"
Yeah.
persistence. And this like back in the day, people would just like show up to they would just show up at the movie lot and be like, put me in your film, put you in your film. And I'm like, okay, we'll take you and put you as extras.
Love it.
And so she was obsessed with the film industry. She was like, yeah, and she just was incredibly persistent. And her first role was an uncredited extra in 1919, the silent film The Red Lantern, when she was 14. So 14 years old, breaking into the film industry in 1919. And I
Look at
can't
this.
imagine things are particularly great for, a Chinese American woman, right? And she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. I recommend if you can get a chance, Google a picture of Anna May Wong. Gorgeous, gorgeous woman. She got more roles, and she did what you do when you're getting roles, and she dropped out of school. She was like, I don't need this. I'm gonna Steve Jobs this, or like, or Steve Jobs, Anna May Wong did. So
Yeah.
she dropped out of school. And then in 1922, at 17 years old, Wong earned her first leading role in The Toll of the Sea, which is the first Technicolor feature made in Hollywood. So she was in the first Technicolor feature that was made in Hollywood.
Amazing.
Part of it though is like, again, this is 1922, so she's a Chinese American woman, and she was cast as Lotus Flower. Don't love it. Who's a young Chinese girl who falls in love with an American man. Oh, there she is, Anna May Wong. What a gorgeous beauty.
Come on.
Gorgeous.
Come on. Yep.
Gorgeous. So she falls in love with an American man and then drowns herself when he leaves her for a white woman. Not a great plot.
We
Not
don't
a
love
great
that
one.
plot. We don't love that plot. Nope.
But at the time, I think it was still so revolutionary that, like, you have an Asian American woman who's like breaking into the industry, and for her, she's like, super, I'll like take whatever I can get. And it was one of the first of its kind to depict an interracial romance. So that was a big deal. And at the time, interracial marriages were forbidden in the US. This is 1922. They were forbidden. Unfortunately, Anna May Wong was often cast as the stereotypical sort of dragon lady, what would happen. So a villain, despite she had an amazing acting ability, captivating on-screen presence, but world was just not ready for her. in 1922. So the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, it prevented Chinese immigration to the United States and fueled discrimination throughout the country. So there was, she's on the heels of that act there. So there's a lot of just Asian sentiment at the time. She was really frustrated with her limited roles in the United States. And so she's like, guess what, y'all? You can't handle me. I'm out of here. And so in 1928, she left and she found amazing success in German and Austrian films. So she was over there, 1928, pre-Hitler. So things were good. Things were good. She eventually came back to the U.S. Nothing had changed. She was like, okay, time to go back. I'm sure they've gotten over their racism. Nope. Okay. And then here's the wild thing, a heartbreaking story about this trailblazer. Don't envy her what she had to go through, but she ideally hoped to pave the way for others who would come after her. But she was frequently told that she was too Chinese to play Chinese and was often passed over for Chinese roles in favor of white actresses in yellowface. So I mean, this yellowface is something that would happen well into like the 70s. Like you like can look back and like see movies where it's white actors playing these Asian roles and the things that they would do to try to get them to look more Asian, absolutely out of control. And she was like, great, well, I'm out. I don't like this. I'm out of here. And she was really against it. She really became very vocal, speaking out against racism and stereotyping. And she did a lot of B movies where she could just hone us in on her talent and play more interesting roles. So she would get to play strong Chinese characters. But despite her discrimination she faced, she continued to fight racism in Hollywood until her death in 1961.
You know what's so funny is I know this
Yeah.
story. Do you want to
Oh,
take a guess
yeah.
as to why I know this story based off what narrative TV show I watched?
Yes,
Fictional
you
TV show?
watched it was on Netflix
Yeah.
and Ryan Murphy's show.
Yeah.
What was it
Very good.
called?
It was
I
called
didn't finish it.
Hollywood.
Hollywood. Yes,
So
yes. Yeah.
yeah, Hollywood, Ryan Murphy, who brought you Glee, sort of reimagines, what if we didn't completely mess everything up in Hollywood? What if these actors, because it's also Hattie, what was Hattie's last name? The
Hattie
actress, Hattie.
McDaniel.
So Hattie
Yeah.
McDaniels, and then a few queer actors. Like, what if we did right by them? Sort of reimagines
Yeah.
that. But anyway, so I was first introduced to this storyline from Hollywood.
Same, because I actually
I was
watched
just like, I know this.
No, actually, really same, because I had just watched the first couple of episodes, and then when
Right.
I heard this story about Anna May Wong, I was like, oh, that is her. Oh, I get what he's doing. I get what he's
Yeah.
doing.
Okay.
So,
I see. I see.
want to
I don't know if he
welcome
nailed it, but yeah.
Jackie. I know,
Jackie.
but it could swing and a miss, swing and a miss.
Yeah.
Welcome Jackie to Get On Up. First time here on the show. We're glad to have you. We just celebrated Anna May Wong for Women's History Month, and now Renee, over to you for What Would You Do? What would you do? We're gonna ask, what would you do?
Wednesday. We love it. The segment in which I tell you either things that are going on in my life that I currently need some help with, and or things that are happening in the news, or to celebrities that I'm a little like, well, shoot, what would I do? Would I be able to do that? I don't know if I would. So the very first one is are you sweet Bella and 10 who are with us, are you good with watching cringe moments on TV? So like an American Idol singer is maybe not that good, or a game show where everybody knows the answer, but the contestant is like, I can't think of it right now. I can't. It's my greatest nightmare is to actually sit through those things. So I'm going to report something that I myself would not be able to watch. If I were watching this live, I would have changed the channel. That's it. Wheel of Fortune. We know it, we love it. The game show just had an episode air wherein the clue was a feather in their cap. That was like the final answer. So they had another feather in their cap. So they're going round and round and round. Because normally what will happen is like somebody will say, so the very first thing that this contestant says is a feather in their map. She just didn't know the phrase. She didn't know it was a thing. So she started with map. So usually the humiliation is minimal because the next contestant will spin the wheel and they will get to be like, no, actually, may I buy a see its feather in your cap? So she gets it wrong. She says their map. And then the next contestant goes and hits bankrupt. So he doesn't get a turn. He doesn't get a turn. The next contestant goes and hits bankrupt. So again, no more turns. So it goes back to her, but she doesn't know it. She doesn't know it at all. So she's like, feather in their pap? Pap? Is it another? Well, I guess no, because the P would be so like she didn't even put together the P's already been called out. She didn't get that right. So then they go around again. Both guys miss it again. So that it goes back to her for the third time.
No.
And she's like, I don't a feather and sap. Is it sap? She's just like crying, and poor backstage Jack is trying to help him. The audience is icy silent. Nobody's saying anything. And then finally, somehow, some way, the next contestant gets to go and says that. But 3 times she was made to guess in a way that she doesn't know it. So my question, what would you do? One, let's do it first. As a viewer, could you get through that? Or would you change the channel?
Oh, this particular situation, I am laughing and giggling. In fact, as soon as we're done, I will be watching
You're gonna
this
go find it?
all the long day. Look, even Tugboat wants to
Even
watch it
Tugboat's
as
like,
well.
oh, I couldn't watch it. Okay, yeah, he's ready to laugh about it. He's ready to laugh about it. Yeah.
It's interesting. It depends the kind of cringe. Like,
yeah.
I remember when Britney performed at Vegas, like the MTV Music Awards 2008, the infamous one that she, was not mentally prepared for, ready for at all. I, again, part of the Britney army, I will never forget. It started 30 seconds in. I walked away from the screen and was just like, "Oh no!" I couldn't watch it. It was so so bad. But I think something like this, I can have a laugh and giggle at. Were you able to make it through? What about you, Renee?
No, God, absolutely not. I barely made it through the article without watching it. I barely made it through the article. So, so my second thing is, what would you, if you were that contestant?
Oh my God, heartbreaking. And you
you
didn't
do?
know? Well, Renee, I feel like this maybe hits a little close home to you.
It sure does. Yeah.
Because this kind of
you
sounds
get
like you
defensive,
during.
you defend that you're intelligent in other ways. You justify that memory isn't actually a thing. It's a yeah.
This sounds a little bit like your trivia this week.
Yeah, no, I think because I was being watched and because I was on TV, I think I would like try to be on best behavior. But if it were just like a game among friends, the amount of articles I would have pulled up that spelling and memory is not indicative of intelligence, it would be the rest of the night. The rest of the night.
I think you would have had fun with it on TV. You would have like done some like, well, how about this dance, Pat Sajak? Yeah, and I think, but to that woman's credit, it is hard. Like you're on the show, nerves are high. It's a lot of stress and pressure. It's very easy at home. Like, like your mind is probably racing. I'm sure once she saw it, she was like, "Oh yeah, okay, got it."
Well, okay.
All right.
Andrea from Florida, we're so happy to see you. We are trying to figure out if you got Wheel of Fortune wrong 3 times. How would you react? What would you do? I think it's also like either this happens with Jeopardy too. It's either a fact that you know or a fact that you don't. And especially when it comes to phrases like that, a feather in your cap, either you grew up with that and you know what that means or you don't. I think that's a little
I do
tricky.
feel like now I want to go down the rabbit hole because like she's not the only one. There's plenty of people on. There's been other moments like that on Wheel of Fortune where it's this obvious thing and someone says something ridiculous. And I think there was another one where like everybody kept getting it wrong, or was that an SNL sketch? I can't remember. It was where everyone just kept getting it wrong.
Based on real life, it's pretty funny. I also remember one where for some reason it was punch bowl and ladle, and the guy said ladle. Just because I never heard what a ladle was before. So I think it happens. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah, give it to us.
Okay. So Anderson Cooper is over in the Ukraine and he's reporting. He's reporting live. He's bringing us all the news. Now, the thing that's curious about that is his job. That is what he does. That's what he's known for. Is he just adopted his newborn son 3 weeks ago. So this is a tricky, what would you do if you had just adopted a newborn baby, would you continue to participate in your paternity leave? Though I don't know that if he was going to do that regardless. But just kind of in general, what would you do if you were Anderson Cooper and you're known for being on the battlefield and reporting live, but you just adopted a kiddo?
You know what's
Would
so
you go?
interesting about this is that,
Yeah.
and just breaking down Anderson Cooper in general, what's so interesting that you said that is that because we're used to him being on the ground, but it's so interesting
Right.
because he is a news anchor. He doesn't have to do that stuff anymore. Like he doesn't have to welcome
Right.
Trinity. We're talking about Anderson Cooper's on the ground, just had a kiddo, but went to on
Mhm.
the ground into Ukraine to go report. And again, he doesn't have to do that. He has people
Yeah.
else, other like up and coming journalists who like that's their job. Like that's the early days of like, I gotta go out there and talk to these people who
Right.
might punch me in the
Right.
face. Like it is
Yeah.
wild. But it's what Anderson does. And I do kind of applaud him of like he doesn't have to, but he's like,
Right.
this is my heart and my passion and my gift.
Yeah.
He's also a Vanderbilt, so he really doesn't have to do anything except like sit on
At all.
piles of money.
Yes. So true. It's so true.
And
Yes.
I think he's a working girl. And
Mhm.
I can respect that. I think it's one of my biggest fears of when I become a parent that
Yeah.
like sometimes you feel like you have this huge calling that is just so much larger than yourself. But at the same time, like someone else could probably do it, right? Like
Yeah.
it's because like I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm going off on this tangent, but I
No, you're not. No,
watched.
I'd love to hear it. Yeah.
We'll eventually talk about Dolores Huerta, who I met her, and she has this documentary, and she's done so much work for civil rights, specifically with the Latino Chicano movement, and
Right.
she had all these kids, and sometimes not only her kids have the same sort of like love and appreciation for her because she would go off to protest. She was off like leading the charge, doing these things, kind of leaving her
Right.
kids behind. But I always resonated with me because I was like, gosh, I might probably do the same thing sometimes when she's doing so much great work for other people, but not necessarily for like her family. But sometimes your calling is, and your the thing that's in your heart is so much bigger than your immediate, you know?
I love that.
So
I love that very, very much.
I
I also
respect
think
it.
there is something to be said for what is your role as a parent? It
Mm,
is to keep yourself safe and to keep your kiddo safe, but I think it is also to show them how to function in the world.
mm,
Because few times have I done what my parents said. I just mimicked what they did. So I think to teach
mhm.
bravery, to teach honor, to teach we are a team, you gotta, I mean, granted, it's a 3-week-old, so I don't know if we're really gonna get that message delivered. But it's, yeah, I think
What
they
would you
will
do,
do as you do,
Renee?
not as you say.
You've got a kid, and
I'd go.
or
I'd absolutely go. Yeah. I'm not having kids for that exact reason.
you've got tugboat, so you got to
I
just
got
leave. So
Tug.
what about you got
I'd
tugs?
bring Tug. No, bring Tug with me.
I'm here live. Actually, he's good on camera. He's not
He's
making
pretty
a
good on
fuss. He's
camera.
good.
He's pretty good
He's
on
good.
camera. Yeah, he just sneezed right on through. Oh, okay, here.
He's like, no pictures, please. No
Please. Thank you. I
pictures.
did not sign a waiver. No, thank you. No, thank you. Jam, I have 2 more, but I'm curious if we have time for 2. Should we just do 1?
Can we just do one and we can table
Yeah,
one or see if you can
absolutely.
figure it. You might even be able to
Absolutely.
squeeze it into while I'm working it. Do want to welcome Trinity to the show. First time, Trinity. Welcome to Get On Up. We're so glad to have you. Renee is serving the crowd, serving the audience. What would you do in this
What
scenario? So
would
we'd love to
you
hear from you. Bella, 10, Andrea, Trinity. You just say into your device what you would do, and we'll talk
Okay.
about it.
Then will let us know. Courtney Cox, we love her. We know her. Monica on Friends has a new show called The Shining Veil. It's a horror comedy that is coming out. And
Ooh.
she was recently on Jimmy Kimmel telling about a real live actual haunted house that she lived in. She was saying that she was living in a house in Laurel Canyon, which is right here in Los Angeles, and that it was previously owned by a lot of celebrities, and all of the celebrities were just like, "Mhm, yes, it's absolutely haunted," including Carole King. So before she moved in, she did like the seance with Carole King to be like, "Hey, ghosts, if you could just, I'm not real big on having ghosts here, so if we could just get you out of there, that'd be fine." And she said that there wasn't a ton that was going on in the house that was like indicative of it. She's like, "Okay, well, maybe there's nothing here." And then a UPS guy came to the door. This is her story that she's telling on Jimmy Kimmel. To me, if I were reading it, I was like, oh, that can't be right. But I saw her tell the story. So the UPS guy comes and he like freezes. He goes, "White as a ghost." And he's like, "Is your house haunted?" And she was like, "I don't know, people say it is." And he's like, "'Cause there's a guy behind you." And she was immediately put her
No.
house on the market. Immediately. So she turned around, she didn't see anything, but the guy made her very, very nervous about it. So
Oh my
what would
God,
you
did she
do?
even sleep in the I would not even
No,
go back
she
into
was
the
like, "I
house.
never slept in that house again.
Leave
I
the
never slept in that
leave
house
the
again."
door open. I
Yeah,
would first make the UPS guy come with me
yeah,
to grab my keys.
right.
And oh gosh, I gotta go upstairs. I need to go get a few pairs of shoes. Um, well, I just gotta pack a little bit, but I need him to keep watch.
You stay here.
Shoot, I need to grab this painting and I need that lamp. I'll be there in a minute. Hold on, make sure this guy doesn't get me. Shoot, let me. Oh, I need to answer this. I gotta answer my emails, and then as soon as I'm done with all of that,
Right,
I am
and
out of
then
there. I am not.
out
Well,
of there.
I might
Yes,
need to just stay just one night, but I'll need the UPS guy just to
yeah.
stay with me the entire night, so I can have the UPS
Just
guy.
right on through. Just right on through. Okay, so that
What
is
about you? What are you
hilarious, and then
doing?
yeah.
What are you doing?
Um, I'm not big on believing in
Well, super
supernatural.
normals.
Super normal.
Clearly,
Yeah,
you can't even get their name right, Renee. Have some
sorry.
respect.
Sorry, I'm
And
sorry,
about the
sorry,
super
sorry, sorry. Yeah,
normals.
not big. I or if
You don't
I
believe in
am, I'm
ghosts?
big on making friends with them because
Dang.
there's
So you
a
don't believe in
few.
ghosts?
I know.
So you can watch
I
any of
know.
the ghost like scary movies because you're like,
No, no,
whatever. Oh, the
absolutely not.
jump
No, 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 no.
scares will get you.
No, I could not. I couldn't watch the jump scares at all. The Paranormal Activity seems absolutely
Oh,
terrifying to
that's
me.
stupid. I
Um,
would not that doesn't seem like fun. I can't do I can do like slasher films because I feel like I have a chance. Like, it's some
right,
guy asking me what my favorite movies are, or a
mhm,
girl, a
yeah,
woman, and then but they're clumsy, so I have time to like get away. But
yeah,
like with the ghosties, it's so hard to figure out what does this ghost want? Do they want me to watch their tape? Do they want me to burn this house? Do they want me
right.
to like solve their murder mystery? Like every ghost has their own theme and rules, and you don't know what you have to do, and you figure it out
Oh,
as you go
I know what they
along, you
mean.
might not make it. So,
Oh
okay.
no.
Do you see how much I'm not willing to play?
I
I
will not
don't
be
play with
participating
ghosts,
in this. I will
Renee.
not be
I
participating in
don't.
this. No.
Nope,
Okay.
I don't like
Cool.
ghosts. I don't like
Did
them.
you see my 30% commitment to that bit for that exact reason? I was like, I can't. I want to do it, but
Don't
it's
freak
not
me
gonna work.
out. I
I
can't.
will not be freaking out. That is a
Even
curtain.
as you were telling the story, I
Yeah.
got a little nervous and
Well,
scared because I
please.
was
Well, let's
like,
make friends with them right now. Thank you so much. We love you.
"Don't
I
hurt me."
appreciate you letting me stay here. You just gotta make friends with them.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
especially living in New York, there's in your building, you're just like, so many people have died in this building. So many.
Sure, of
Or
course.
if you're
Of
then
course.
over in Europe, this guy I went on a date with who was in Germany, he was like, doesn't believe in ghosts because people here in the US were like, oh, this house is haunted. And he's like,
Right.
our stuff is like centuries old. Do you know how many like ghosties would be like
So
running
many
around over
people.
there? So
So many. You know what? Here I am telling you no, and then I'm also feeling skeevy right now. And when I first moved into this apartment, the lady below me died. And I definitely had a moment of just like, where? And was my bed in the way? And is she now under my bed? Should I help her? Yeah. Where is her soul right now? So yeah, that's
see,
fair. Also,
yeah,
if you're here, help yourself to anything. Make yourself at
yeah.
home. Okay.
Ooh, look at us telling
Ooh.
ghost stories in March. Look at us.
Spooky,
Oh.
spooky, spooky,
Oh,
spooky,
we
spooky.
lost
Okay,
Patty. That was too much for Patty, but
that's fair.
Trinity, 10, and Bella, they can
Yeah.
handle it. They're still here.
Yeah, they got it. They're
Um,
brave.
so right. Right. We're halfway through, more than halfway through the show. But if you're just joining us and you like what you're seeing, well, head on over to www.backchannel.tv and use that leave a review button. And remember to get involved in the conversation, you can just say, and then whatever it is that you want to say will be there. Or if you're on YouTube, maybe some of y'all are streaming on YouTube. I don't know what these little icons mean over here on the right. But some of you might be on YouTube and you can type on the YouTube any of your comments. So we're now
Mhm.
getting to the news portion. What do you think? Well, what do you think of this? Well, what do you think of this? It's our news, and we're gonna ask you, well, what do you think of this? I got some news for
Okay,
you, Renee.
alright. I have, let me check. Do I have any heavy ones? No, I have all light and breezy ones. So, if you
Okay.
wanna weave. Okay.
Just assuming that I have all these heavy ones.
Yeah, yeah, because 'cause you're good at it.
Well, Ukraine. Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we
I
go.
want to welcome Lords to the show. We're talking about some things that are going on. We want to get your opinion. Well, what do you think of this? So, we're talking about Russia. I don't know if you've heard of this, but YouTube, TikTok, and Meta, Facebook. I am not calling it Meta. I know you're trying to rebrand
Who's
yourself. I'm
calling it
not doing
meta?
it. That they rebranded themselves. Did you not hear? They're not Facebook
No.
anymore. They're Meta because they're going to be doing more than just Renee. Look at her not trusting and believing in
No,
me.
I trust you. I just want to see what if I put Facebook into it, is it now
I
saying, "No,
mean,
no, we're
yeah,
Meta?"
no, it'll go to Facebook, but Facebook is part of Meta, which is part of like the entire Facebook operation is now called Meta, and because they're doing virtual reality, they're gonna, sell houses. I don't know, but they're looking to branch out and to take over the world. So they needed a name that was more than just Facebook. And Facebook has a bad name, so they wanted to rebrand. So
Right. Okay.
even Vulture is calling them Meta in this. So YouTube, TikTok, Meta, aka Facebook, have all blocked Russia-owned like Russian TV in Europe, like all their sort of like propaganda. So tech companies and telecom providers and even Europe, Australia, and Canada are blocking Russian state-controlled media outlets in light of Putin's shenanigans. And it's shenanigans,
I think this is too light.
wildin',
Yeah.
just
Absolute insane. Cool.
yep. So
Evil
they all
plan.
are doing moves. So I think that was pretty amazing to see. I mean, especially Meta, aka Facebook, not known for doing anything.
Yeah.
There was that one time where they helped their platform do a genocide because there was all this
Remember?
misinformation that was happening.
Remember that one
So
time? Yeah.
I remember. So I do appreciate that they will stand up in some regards, like when it's like, oh, we might head into a nuclear war. Maybe we should help
Yeah.
stop it in some capacity. So I thought that was
We'll
some
take it.
really good
It
stuff.
is so funny to watch big corporations also participate in a domino game. Because like Disney's like, we're holding our movies, and so as soon as Disney says we're not releasing our films, then every other company, like it's
Mhm.
in a good way, I guess, so long as the dominoes are following the right direction. I guess that's good. But it's just so interesting how like peer pressure does not leave society.
Yep.
Uh, you just
Well,
yeah.
because at the end of the day, again, we talked about this, but like, vote with your dollars, capitalism, that like people would maybe stop watching Disney if they were like continuing to, participate in this. Oh, to this point, I meant to bring this up yesterday, but actually, this is kind of a sidebar with Disney. Yesterday, we were talking about the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida.
Right.
And there was this article, I don't have it right now. I'll see if I can find it and tell you some of these businesses, but you can't have it both ways, businesses. So it turns out that Disney, like because in Florida, they're in Florida, so
Right.
they have a heavy presence
Mhm.
there with like their Magic Kingdom, da da da. Da. But a lot of times, what corporations will do is they'll donate to both candidates as a way of like,
Right.
oh, well, we're just giving money to everybody. But
Right.
they have donating to these candidates or these politicians who are supporting this Don't Say Gay bill,
Mhm.
even though Disney has a huge like actually like it's a great place to work for queer people, but it's this double-sided like which side of the fence are
Don't
you
they also have
can't.
gay days there?
They
It's
do
in
have
the
gay
title of the
days
day. Yeah.
and it's like you can't have it both ways, and you're
Yeah.
gonna have to pick a lane. You can't serve both at this point. So so people are obviously calling for boycott and all this sort of stuff, and
Right.
they're not the only one. There's a lot of companies who will, okay, we're doing a big pride parade thing, we're going to give to both politicians. It's like, whoa, one or the other here. You can't
Yeah.
support an underrepresented group but then also support people who are trying to infringe upon their rights and their very existence.
Right. Right. Yes. Go, James. Go. Let's get you out there. You be president.
Okay.
That's who's next. Okay. All right. Um, so interesting.
Mm.
Okay, so that sounds good. It sounds good. This Ukraine thing of just like, well, take away everything, I suppose. See what happens. All right, dude. You want to go real light? You want to go real light and
Yeah,
crazy?
give it to me, give
Okay.
it to me, give it to me, give it
This
to
is
me.
brought to you by Sarah. Our producer gave me this information. We love seeing it. So this yeah, what do we think of this? The basis of the story is numerous alcohol companies are now starting to release a non-alcoholic version that looks cool in a club. So I don't know if you've heard of like Liquid Death or Three Spirit or Toast, but they're all like they look like drinks, like cocktails. Liquid death, obviously. You if you were to look at that liquid death can, you're like, oh no, that
And
is
be like, "Ooh,
absolutely
I'm
full
gonna
of
get
booze.
messed up
Yeah,
tonight," and
absolutely
it's
full of
like,
booze.
then you can
Water.
look mountain water. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
mountain water.
Right, that's it. That's all that's happening there. So that's kind of the well, what do you make of this? It because I've got several sober friends who, it's tricky. It's tricky at a bar to be like, no, no, more seltzer water, please. Uh, there's
Yeah.
not there's
Or
not a
when
lot of
you've done
options.
dry Januaries or dry months, like,
Yeah,
you feel like and then they're like, "Here's your
exactly.
dollar."
Right. And you're like, I guess it will be fine. So I think the thing that I'm curious about here is there a need? And is the reason that you are meeting that need because you genuinely care and want people who don't drink to have options? Or you're just like, I'm getting money from everyone. Oh, I'll be getting money from everyone. How do we feel?
Mm.
What do we think about these
What do we
companies?
think, Get On Uppers? Are we into this? Do we like it? I think on face value, I do like I appreciate it. I think it'll probably even make me drink less. Like I'll have an option, because there is something like you want something in your hand and something social.
Right.
People can tell it is, I don't know. Sometimes it feels a little weird just be drinking a big old glass of water with a lime in it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're out, so you want to treat yourself, right? And so I think like yes, it's probably that liquid death is probably like $5 or like three or four
Guaranteed.
dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but I think like yeah, I think people drink a lot. I think our generation like we drink a lot. There
Right.
used to be a thing where it's like every activity would there'd be booze involved. I went to go see Bridesmaids. I
Yeah.
brought a tall can of beer. Oh, we're going to the park. There's booze.
Right.
So I think this could encourage more sober activities,
Yeah.
or you've had a few cocktails and you're like, okay, I want to drink something else. Let me,
Right.
switch
Let's
it up.
let's take her from there. It would be curious. I mean, I think the people to run this by are sober people of just like,
Mhm.
what is this? Does this feel
Do
better?
you want this?
Does
Yeah.
this slash is this triggering? Now is this bottle so similar to what you used to drink? Is it I'm just curious. If it is comforting, I love it. If it's not, uh alcohol companies, you're making plenty of money. You're fine. You're fine.
Oh, it's the companies are doing it. Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe they're just trying. It's like I want a glass half full. That they're really trying to just be inclusive and bring everybody into the
I hope
party.
so.
That's what I
Yeah,
think. That's what I think.
I like that. I like that.
Let's talk about gays. Let's talk about queer
Okay.
people. So, Renee, the data is in. Let's look at the
Okay.
data. So, there was a Gallup poll, and it says that more American adults, more than ever, identify as LGBTQ, according to a Gallup poll released last week.
Mhm.
They used data aggregated over the past year from interviews with over 12,000 respondents. So, 12,000 people is with the pool that they're doing it from. But they found that 7.1% of US adults reported identifying as something other than heterosexual. Now, they began measuring analytics back in 2012, which found just 3.5% responding. I've always thought that number was so low. I always, for
Mhm.
even back in the 2000s, I was like, oh, yeah, it's at least 10% of the
Right.
population is like LGBT at least. That B demographic, let me tell you, they are bigger than you
Than
think.
ever.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of people. It's a lot of
Lot of
people. It
bees.
really is. I think because again, there's a lot of biphobia is real.
Sure.
There's accounts, especially for men, for bisexual men.
Yeah.
um they have very much of difficulty because like their girlfriends get sometimes like insecure of like, oh, you're just gay, and they're like, no, I'm
Right.
absolutely in love with you, but I do have attraction to men, but I'm with you.
Right.
And then their straight friends are like, dude, you're gay.
Yeah.
And then sometimes when they're with gay men, they feel insecure of like, you're gonna leave me for a woman. And it's like, let bisexual people be, like,
Yep.
everyone deal with your own insecurities, your
Yeah.
own things.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
Yeah.
them.
Not only insecurities, but also like puzzle solving of I don't understand this, so I got to put you in this pigeonhole. It was like that's not on me.
Mhm.
Just because you don't
No.
understand doesn't mean I need to conform. Absolutely not. Yeah.
Yes, and again, just because someone has, it would be the same of like, I don't know, just like fear of, again, it has everything to do with the other person of like, if
Right.
like your partner, if you trust your partner, they're gonna be with you, like no
Right.
matter, no matter what there.
Yeah.
So Yes, and so Gen Z, there was a report that it was like I remember reading a report that 1 in 6 Gen Z identify as queer. So yeah, this says nearly 21% of Gen Z Americans who are at least 18 years old as of last year identify as LGBTQ. Nearly twice as many as millennials who do at 10.5%, and 5 times as many as Gen Xers.
Right.
So that's and then. Yep,
Yeah.
they're coming at 4.2%, and then 2.6 of baby boomers. Does this mean that more and more people are gay and queer? No, it just means
Nope.
people. It's a generational thing. They've always been here.
Yeah.
It's just now people are being more comfortable with identifying.
Absolutely. And then they weren't conformed from birth.
No,
I
no.
genuinely I don't yeah, because now I stand before you as a middle-aged woman. But there's it's a joke in my family of my mom would constantly be like trying to get me to wear a dress, would constantly be like, Renee, look at all your friends, they're in dresses. And then I would just like swing my legs in my tennis shoes. I'm like, not me. Uh I'm not, I won't be uncomfortable. So it is a curious thing of like, what does it look like if you were nurtured from the ground up of like, whatever you want, whatever you want.
Mhm.
It does that allow more freedom of things.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Let people be. Let people be.
Yeah.
Do you have something else that's in the news, Renee?
Sure do. I sure do. So it's what it is a genuine. What do we make of this? Greg Daniels, who is the creator of the U.S. Office, the TV show The Office, has said that he's currently in talks with NBC to create a reboot of The Office like The Mandalorian, and everyone was like, "What's that now? What are you doing?" What's happening? So I need your help understanding this. But what he's saying is
Uh-huh.
it would be an office that is an extension of the universe. And then to sort of make his point, he was like, Parks and Rec was actually supposed to be a spinoff of The
Uh-huh.
Office because one of the Dufflin copiers was supposed to be in the Park and Rec office. So it would just like expand the universe of where it was going. So one, explain Mandalorian and the Star Wars universe to me. And then
Yeah.
2, do we want that? Do we need that? Do we want a show that has references to The Office?
Well, I mean, okay, let me explain the thing that I do know. So,
Okay.
yes, The Mandalorian is set in the world of Star Wars, so it's
Sure.
canon, similar to like the Disney Plus series, like WandaVision. It's connected to like all the MCU.
Got it.
So, and they're just saying they're trying to expand the universe because everyone loves an expanded universe because
Right.
people love good storytelling. We love it when stories connect and there's continuity, there's world building, it allows like imagination. These things are real.
Right.
No, I didn't really watch The Office. I didn't really watch The
That's fair.
Office.
Yeah.
Again, for me, not enough people of color on the show. They were kind of like the side
Yeah.
characters. So,
Yep.
but I'm sure if they were going to do it now in 2022, 23, it would be much
Be
more
nice.
ideally, yeah,
Right.
like
For
more
them
more
to
people there.
get it right a bit more. Yeah, so that's just an interesting thing that is happening that societally I was on a dating app and the person that I was talking to was making jokes about how I promise this is going somewhere. So Punky Brewster just had a like, oh, where is she now? Over on
Hmm.
Peacock.
Oh
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay. All right. And the results are mixed of how that worked. And so he was hypothesizing of like, well, we just have to wait for the Clarissa Explains It All reboot
Oh
for
yeah,
that
yeah.
for that world to expand back into Punky, then to then make it sense. And it does seem like that's something that we're doing now is we're just trying to like, well, no, it's all in the same universe and we'll figure it out and this will fix that and that'll fix that. And it's like, wow. Nope, we need
Yeah.
everything to be one
And
singular
true,
thing. Yeah,
because MCU is just doing so great. People are like, "Oh, do this thing that MCU is doing. Let the MCU do it,
right,
because you'll ruin it. You'll ruin it for
right.
everybody."
I know,
I
but
want to
everybody's
welcome
trying to hop on.
Colby. I know. I do want to welcome Colby to the stream. We are talking about some news. Well, what do you think of this? I have one last one that I want to share today,
Okay.
just to show an image. Sarah, we have an image of
Yeah,
the State
I
of the
also have a
Union
lot of
address
images.
happen. We have do we have the image of the State of the Union address, Sarah, that we can throw up? Look at this image. I just want to say, I feel like no matter where you fall on the aisle, or can we scoot it out a little bit, Sarah? Because I want to focus really on it's Women's History Month. And I want to make sure we see the image of the way that
I
you
bet
had
we
it
could let's
before.
turn off our
Good.
cameras. Jim, turn off your camera real
Great.
quick.
All right. Now that Renee's gone, just kidding.
There you go.
I just want to focus on this here. This is a historical moment. There are, we have a female vice president, a female speaker of the House. There are two women. That's history, and I always just feel like it's important, no matter I think where. What do you all think? Like, just taking this as looking at this image, like again, not necessarily the politics of it, but just like thinking about where we are in history. What do we think?
Yeah, I mean, great. It's good. Yes, absolutely. I think we're making progress. We're getting there. I also think it's the big thing about this photo is that no one's wearing a mask in it. Uh,
Yeah.
so I think we also like the progress of it and the notion of just like, oh, it's not just too pretty. Well, I'm back, and also me, and also me, and I'm
I
also in
like
here.
that. Oh wait, I liked it. Just like it was like Renee's also there. Uh-huh. It is what it was
Yeah,
missing. Was
right.
absolutely. Get it uppers. What do you think? Should Renee have been there at the State of the Union address
Exactly.
on the
I think that's
panel?
what
They need
most
a
people are
funny
saying.
lady.
Feel
They
like
need
they're
funny.
nobody's critiquing it, nobody's divided on it. The only thing is that I should have been there. Is sort of the thing.
Yeah, I think that's the
It's
one thing
amazing.
that you're the
Yeah,
unifier of the United States of what
yeah,
could happen. But yeah, I
yeah,
think
yeah.
and hi Colby, our hello hello. We're just doing some well, what do you think news?
Let's
I and
do
yeah, so Biden is talking about here's the good news: if you make under $400,000 a year, you will not see a penny in new taxes, is what
Heyo.
Biden
Great.
mentioned in the State of the Union address, and really working on things. Was really using words that people would understand. So not necessarily talking about inflation, but just having more money in your pocket. I'm talking about inflation and working against that, and also not talking about climate change, but saying about like we're gonna, make sure your heat's not as high, or like getting better infrastructure. But they're talking about climate
Yeah,
change. Talked about
yeah, yeah.
Putin and all that stuff. So he had like a sounds like it was a really 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 good speech. And again, it
I think
is
they're. Go
theater.
ahead.
Oh no, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, no, and then there was some good chit chat about insulin. I think there are a lot of people who are dependent
Yeah.
on
Hmm.
medication that is just draining them, and so I
Yep.
think there's going to be a lot of efforts to try to make that more affordable. So
Yep, yep. I
that
think
is
all the
good.
things. People are
Yes.
feeling the hurt in their pocketbook and
Ugh,
yeah. So and hello Colby to you. How are you? Look at that question. We're great. We're glad that you're here. Now that you're here, now it's a
totally.
party.
Things are looking
Now
up.
it's a
Things
party.
are looking up. Um, yeah, I have one more, but I can save it. This can go. This can go somewhere else because it's fast. It's just a real
Okay.
quick. Just a
All
real
right.
quick. Just a real quick. What do you think about this? Is that Netflix is single-handedly being like, we need, and I loved this word, so I'm going to say it, a Lohan-isance. So not a renaissance, but a Lohan-isance, meaning,
Can I
yes,
guess? I can take a guess what
yeah,
I think that
mhm,
means.
uh-huh,
It's a Lindsay Lohan. Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say it
yeah,
before the picture came up, but it's a Lindsay
sure,
Lohan renaissance that we need
mhm,
to. She was supposed to be our teen queen idol. Like we were gonna
right?
grow up with her, and then
Yep.
Dina got into the mix. Let's do
Boy, boy,
something
boy, boy,
fun.
boy. So I think she's really been trying to make a comeback, and she cannot get anybody to
I
make films for her.
know.
But Netflix is like, you know what? We're gonna do it. So Netflix is here with the Lohanazons. Not only does she have a Christmas movie coming out, but they've also greenlit two other films of hers. So Lindsay Lohan lives at Netflix. I think
Good.
she's a great actor. I think
I
she is
think so
phenomenal. If you
too.
look at her canon, she's so talented. So
She
I'm
was
happy to see it.
she played twins. It was a big
She sure
revolutionary
did.
thing. She played
She
very
sure
two
did.
very distinct twins. She did a really good job on it.
Yes.
I
Thank
think it was
you.
just I think there's some hurt because it was like we like were giving her the keys to the castle. She had like her whole entire career like map. I mean, she was gonna be just the golden girl of like Hollywood,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Like even she had Tina Fey doing Mean Girls, like
Mhm.
she was just crushing it left and right. She had a little pop song called Rumors that sounds like it was left off of a Britney Spears album, but she took it off.
Probably
Like it's
was. Yep.
very Britney, the song. And I think we have some hurt. Like she kind of let folks down, but it was in that she was also again what 24, 20 in your 20s.
His
Thank gosh there
baby.
was no
Yeah.
paparazzi following me around when I was in my like mid
Yeah.
20s.
I'm
Mess,
barely
mess,
able to
mess,
not
mess.
embarrass myself on social media now. Now, I can't imagine. Yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway,
well,
if you're a
I'm here
fan
for
of
this.
Lindsay Lohan, Netflix is on your side, and she's coming back with a vengeance, but only on Netflix.
Good. That's smart.
Great.
That is smart of the Netflix. That is smart of them. All right. Well, it is time. Is it wildin' or working? Are we
Right, it's time.
wildin' or working it? Wildin' or
Yes.
working it?
Yahoo!
All right. I like that little Yahoo at the end. I don't think I've ever heard you make that. Okay. So Rosie O'Donnell recently had to re-apologize, which means there was already an apology, but she had to re-apologize to Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas after her first apology didn't go so well. Have you heard about this story? Did you hear
Yeah,
about
of course I've
this?
heard about this. Yeah.
So Rosie O'Donnell originally had to apologize to them. I think there might be an image there, just in case people forgot what Rosie O'Donnell and Priyanka Chopra
No,
look
but
like.
it's helpful. It's helpful to see. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to follow in your footsteps, Renee, because Renee always brings the images.
I'm not photos.
So, she initially had posted an apology. So what happened was, she was out on holiday with like her kids. It was her son, his girlfriend, and Fran Drescher, the nanny. That was my.
That's spot on. Is she here, Fran?
Oh, Mr. Sheffield.
It's pretty
Good.
good, Jam. That's pretty
We'll
good. All
put
right.
that in the box of impressions. And so apparently what had happened was like Rosie O'Donnell was explaining that she had embarrassed her son and his girlfriend Teresa and Fran Drescher because seated next to us in Malibu was Nick Jonas and his wife. And then even in the apology video, so in the apology video, she's like apologizing for it, and she's like, "Yeah, someone Chopra." So already this apology is not going off well because she was talking about Priyanka Chopra, and she just said
Yeah.
someone Chopra. So already this is in her apology. And then to go on, she's like, "Oh, well, I had assumed it was, Deepak Chopra's daughter." Ugh. So when I said hi to Nick Jonas, you're great in Kingdom, and then she said to Priyanka, "Hi, I know your dad." And Priyanka's like, "Oh, you do? Who's my dad?" And she's like, "Deepak." And she said, "No, Chopra is a very common name." And Rosie's like, "Oh, I felt so bad. I was so embarrassed." And so she apologized in this video. And then she said, "So to Nick Jonas, I apologize. And to Chopra wife, I apologize too." So that
Ooh,
was her first
Rosie.
apology. And then people were like,
Yeah.
"Rosie, what are you doing? What are you doing?" That's kind of
Yeah.
probably the face she was making. She was like, "Ugh." Like,
Oops.
"Oh, am I doing it
Sorry.
all
Yeah.
right?"
Yeah.
So then she does another video and she says, "Okay, good morning, everybody. I was reading the comments about Nick Jonas and his wife, Priyanka Chopra, who I mistakenly thought was Deepak's daughter. And people thought she was, rude. She wasn't rude. It was just awkward. I'm sorry. She probably gets really sick of this. I'm sure I'm not the only one. According to the comments, a lot of people thought that too, but she's apparently a very well-known actress. Again, she might need another
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a third
apology.
apology here. We're gonna have to do a third apology. Yeah.
She's
All right.
apparently a very well-known actress, apparently more famous than him, people are saying. So I'm sure it felt weird to begin with. And anyway, Priyanka is her name. Priyanka, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That's what Rosie's saying. I just want to apologize to her and anyone who thought it was really inappropriate of me. Sorry, sometimes I mess up. I didn't know, boo. What do we think? Is Rosie O'Donnell wildin' or is she working it? What do we think?
Yeah.
Get on uppers. You can shout out in the comments. Renee, what do you think?
Right. Well, because she's a stand-up of the 90s, right? So I think, first off, in full disclosure, could not have been a bigger Rosie O'Donnell fan because little Renee in Colorado Springs, Colorado, she was such a fan of Broadway. And so when the Rosie O'Donnell show was out, I lived and died by that show.
Oh,
I
a lot of
I have the
Broadway
Rosie
because she
Barbie, I have
loves
the Rosie
Broadway.
doll, I have the Rosie ornament, I have both Rosie show Christmas albums. Could not be a bigger fan of her just because she was bringing so much culture into my, as we clearly know, cultureless life. So I am indebted to Rosie. And as you'll remember, she was not out on the Rosie O'Donnell show. So I think she also went
Yeah.
through that, like, oh, I can't be me. I can't be accepted to me. So I'm using a lot of this to go ahead. Yes.
But do you remember, to that point, I used to watch the Rosie O'Donnell show all the time as well,
Yeah.
and her obsession with Tom Cruise,
Tom
remember? Like,
Cruise.
she was so
Yeah.
obsessed with Tom, like,
Right.
I've gone back and watched some, like, old YouTube videos. She also really loved Janet Jackson,
Yeah.
but she just
Barbara
and Britney
Streisand
would
and
go on and perform. Yeah,
yeah.
like, but she had that obsession with Tom Cruise. But you're
Yeah.
right, she
Yeah.
wasn't quite out yet, and I never understood why her show ended. I never really understood
The
because
pressure.
Caroline
It was
Rhea
too much.
took over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they offered her so much money to stay on because
Mm,
she was the queen and nice, on
yeah.
daytime talk shows. I'm using all of this to say that I think when you were steeped in that amount of you just especially 90s comedy was like joke, 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 disrespect, disrespect, disrespect. I just think she's been through a lot, and I think it is difficult to like and now arrive at a perfect assessment of how to handle it. That said, there were so many little nuances in there, like, well, you guys are all saying, and I can't be the only one to do it. So I think there's probably not a lot of experience with sitting in uncomfortable emotions of just like, I'm embarrassed and I feel old and I feel irrelevant. And I can't believe I made that mistake. I think is probably
Yeah.
what's going on, but because that's a really hard emotion to feel. I'm really going off on this. I love Rosie. I just
No.
it's real bad. So I want to understand why it's real bad.
So I think you're gonna give her a while which is not easy for you to do, and I
It's
appreciate that you're
it's
able
not
to be
easy.
so honest.
Yeah.
I I actually had this for last week, and so I was rereading it out. At first, I thought I was like, okay, she's working it. We all mess up. We all mess up.
Right.
But there's points in the second apology that it's just like she's apparently a big star. Girl, do a Google search. Like she's this
Yeah.
huge
And
actress
figure out how to say
over
her name. Yeah.
forgot to say her name, like all
Yeah.
those things. Like she is a really big actress. Even here in the US, she's has crossed over, but she also is a big actress over there as well. So I just think like yeah, Rosie Weiland and I look forward to your third apology. Looking
Third
forward to
apology.
it.
But she's gonna nail it. Third time's a charm. She's gonna nail this third apology. I believe in her. I believe in her. I know she can. I know she can. She's in California for something. She's filming something. She's making a
Okay.
comeback of some kind.
I'm a big fan. I wish she had never gone away. I loved her on The View as well. She was back on The View, but then her wife, I think, had cancer, so she had to
Right.
leave to take care of the fam. Okay, this next one is about apparently there is a Vanity Fair published an exclusive. So as I tell you the story, y'all think about who's what is. I want to know who you think is Wylan. Because I think someone is Wylan in this situation. Okay.
Okay.
Who is Wylan? So do you remember Mad Max Fury Road? It had Charlize Theron and oh god. What am I blanking on his name? Tom Hardy. It
Mhm.
had Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy. This is a huge what to do. I mean, Charlize Theron was just so amazing in this film. Tom Hardy was okay, but really she was the thing of this movie. And
Right.
there's a Vanity Fair is publishing an excerpt of this book called Blood, Sweat, and Chrome: The Wild Story and True Story of Mad Max Fury Road. Because this movie had a long, arduous road to getting made. And so apparently, did you ever see Fury Road? Did you see it?
I need
Oh
to. I
wow,
need to. Yeah.
it's a bandwagony thing.
I know. I know. I know.
It was the talk of the town. It was the talk of
I
the
know.
town. Well, this movie is like again, so many strong women in this movie. And so like apparently a lot of the women were clashing with Tom on the set. And at one point, and this is one of Tom Hardy's first big movies, right? And that they were just, yelling at each other. And Tom, he's very physical and he's like all over the place. And Charlize is very cerebral, very consistent. She is a professional, but they're both powerhouses, right?
Right.
So apparently they just did not. And it's so wild. You watch the movie, there is tension between these characters in the movie, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You just in it, they were just not getting along.
Right.
And apparently there was this one like Charlize Theron always on time to set. Always on time to set. Tom Hardy would be late and they're out in the desert. You have to get all this like makeup on. And apparently, Charlize, she's very easy to deal with, but Tom was like being a bit very difficult. Like someone would call like a diva. And there was this one point apparently that like Charlize was like everyone was waiting for like an hour for him to get like onto set, and Tom like oftentimes would be late, and people were like, it's midnight, we want to go home. And eventually, so there was this one time where I think Charlize Theron was on this war rig. She was on this war rig ready to go. It's this huge like set piece, and Tom was given a special request to be there on time, but the book says that he was never known for showing up on time. And it was, they say it was like in the morning, he didn't show up, and Charlize was just like in the rig, just waiting. And Charlize is getting really upset. She's been waiting for like an hour, and she's sitting up there. She's in her makeup, full costume for 3 hours.
Yeah, no, that's
3 hours.
Real bad.
Tom turns up and casually walks across the desert. She jumps out of the war rig and she starts swearing at him and saying, fine. Like, she said all these different words that I can't say here, but she's like, fine him, beep, 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 $100,000 for every minute that he's held up this crew. She's like, how disrespectful you are. She's, yelling at him. It's also loud and it's windy, and he might have heard some of it, but then he charges up to her and he's like, what did you say to me? And he was really quite aggressive to her. She felt threatened, and that was the turning point. And she's like, she had protection on set, and she, then she had a producer always be assigned to her. Now, they both have now since talked about this situation and scenario. Theron looks back and she's like, one of the biggest mistakes we didn't have is that we should have had a female producer from the get-go on there on the set. But George was just really moving really fast, and George, the director, like, he's just this trusted director. He's been in the industry forever, and people were just like, and they didn't want anyone to mess with his vision, so they didn't add anybody onto the team. But she's like, looking back, we should have had a female producer. And Tom Hardy is like, in hindsight, the pressure was on both of us. It was overwhelming. What she needed was a better, he said that she probably needed a better, more experienced partner than me. And he was kind of feeling insecure throughout the entire process. And he's like, I'm older. He's like, now I think I could rise to the occasion. I was young and stupid. Who do we think is wildin' on this situation?
Tom Hardy should never work again. That's absolutely inexcusable. Absolutely not. No. Do you know how many people can show up to set on time and step up? So many. And to approach a woman in a threatening way, you're done. He won't be, because I'm not in charge, but I have zero tolerance for that. That's absolutely unacceptable. And the fact that a female producer wasn't, that was a thing. I hate this. I hate this. I don't like this. No. How do you feel about it?
Oh yeah, Tom Cruise is absolutely wildin'. I wanted to get this story out because, like, he's still making movies. He's Venom and these big blockbuster, movies, and I'm sure it's just so interesting because women can get such bad raps. Oh, hi, James.
James, you're here. Look at you.
James is here. Well, hi, James. This James is also here. Look at that. We've got two Jameses, makes the thing go right.
Yeah, sure does.
But I think that Tom Hardy was absolutely wild in the situation. It's amazing that he's continued to work. I also think that, Charlize Theron, like, she is such a hard worker, and she's had so many attempts at franchises, and they're just not letting it happen. Like the Atomic Blonde movies, amazing, and she's like ready to make a next one. They're like, and it made all this money. It's a female James Bond. You don't even got to rename it. Like, she's doing her own thing. Make more of them. What's happening? Like, it just keeps happening with Charlize. She's not even going to be in the Mad Max spinoff about her character called Furiosa. They're casting a younger actress in the role to do a prequel, but she was the best part of, like, Tom Hardy. You forget, even though he's Mad Max, it's all about her. She is so phenomenal in the film. You love her so much, and so it's just upsetting. Like, Charlize Theron is such a hard worker. I don't know what the industry's issue. Like, I think it's just men have a difficulty with. She's beautiful and she's strong and she's brilliant.
Yep.
And they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah. I mean, that sort of goes into the Rosie story, which, real quick, I looked at her IMDb. I didn't know she was going to be in the League of Their Own TV show. She's guest starring it. Quick Rosie aside. I think it's a weird thing that doesn't make sense when you say it, but if you actually sit with it, of if you have toxic masculinity, the only thing you know is defense. You have not sat in insecurity. You have not sat in humility. You have not sat in all of the emotions that you should be feeling when you're in this. And so I get it. You need to practice feeling those things. And if you're not in practice, then your default will be like, well, I'll just go to defense. And I do think there's an element of controlled failure. If he was already feeling insecure, the best way to control that you will fail is to show up late. It's like, well, great,
Yeah.
I'll just show up late, and that way everybody already hates me. And so now I've controlled that I will be hated this whole time. Great. Perfect. You're very smart, and I don't think anybody does that on a conscious level. I think we all do it on a
Dr.
subconscious level.
Renee Culver is in the house. I didn't
not
realize that we were
therapy.
doing a Dr. Renee Culver segment. Sylvia, just in
Fair. I deserve
time.
that.
Renee
I
just like
deserve that. Yes.
diagnosed toxic masculinity on a level that I had no idea. I haven't even heard Brene Brown break it down like that before. But it is like this idea of shame, and men are so shame resilient, are so afraid to experience shame, and it comes out in really dangerous ways when they are experiencing it. Oh, you're gonna feel it.
Right. It's true. It's true. Okay. Well, thank you for bringing that. And again, I didn't see the movie, so I'm not supporting Charlene the way that I should be. But I really hate that. I'm sorry that happened.
Well, yes.
Yes.
Again,
Tom Hardy, Weiland.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom Hardy, Weiland. So, all right, Renee. I have some more Weiland working minutes, but we can save
Yes.
it for next week
Are you
because they'll
sure?
still be Weiland. Absolutely. Because
Okay.
I want to get to our Wednesday wisdom and what are you watching?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Here we will give you wisdom, usually that we need. And then if that happens to also apply to you get on uppers, well, then great. We're glad that we can hit two birds in one stone. So Wednesday wisdom, I usually don't come up with this ahead of time because I was like, well, let's see how I'm feeling in the moment. But I think that theme that we just were on of it is so hard to sit in your feelings. It is so hard, and it is so easy to do various things to get you out of there, but it won't get you the result that you want. So I think the wisdom that I could use today is, what feeling are you avoiding? And the only way out is through, which is something you texted me yesterday. The only way out is through. But I think
What was the
same with
the
feelings.
first part of what you said? I'm sorry. What was the
To
first part
just
of the?
sit in your feelings. That
Mhm.
that it's really, really difficult to sit in uncomfortable feelings, but not sitting in them the problem won't go away. So you have
Mhm,
to sit in them
mhm.
eventually. And sometimes that's why you have a problem for years on end, is because you're not properly addressing it. She said from a full point of view that is only her own of, oh yeah, right. That's because I still haven't dealt with it. Okay.
But thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing that. Because I think it'd be very easy to look at Renee and be like, oh, she's got it together. She has a new job. She's got a dog, beautiful paintings. Like, look at her, cute hairstyle.
Look
Love
at
the
her go.
curtains. Look
Look
at
at
that
her
air
go.
conditioner.
Look at her go. It
Like
goes. Yeah.
she's so footloose and fancy free. But it's so like I appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
Saying
That's
things.
very, very kind. So yeah, my wisdom is sit in your feelings.
Sit in your feelings. And I
Sit in your
think there's
feelings.
also a great book that will help you with that too. We've been talking about it. We're not paid sponsorship at all. But Brene Brown's Atlas of the Heart will help you to identify some of those feelings and get more robust in your language for it. So that way you can then help identify what it is that you need. So highly recommend. I'm making my way through it, the book. Highly
I
recommend.
love it. I love it. It's queued up. I'm listening to another audiobook right now, but as soon as I'm done with that one, then I'll start listening to Atlas of the Heart. What is your wisdom, my sweet, sweet friend? What you
Oddly
got?
enough, this is going to come from a text from my brother. So,
Yeah.
I've been a lot of I do diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging in my day job. And so I unpack a lot of difficult conversations, like, things around racism or homophobia or like, feminism, and really making sure there's equity and belonging for folks and really unpacking a lot of those things. And so it's my job, but then also sometimes even like with my friends, I feel like I'm constantly having to explain a lot of these isms, and it just was feeling very sort of heavy going into the show yesterday. And my brother in the morning sent me this really great text. First of all, he said, you're making a big difference in the world. So I would like to throw that to everybody. Actually, you think we're all making a difference in the world when we just show up and live our true authenticity and really step into our true mission in life. And when you know your mission in life, then no one else can take that away from you. And it helps for even in those really difficult times. Welcome, Karen, to the show. For Karen from
Hey,
Arizona,
Karen.
we are just doing some Wednesday wisdom and just letting you all know that you're making a difference when you show up as your full authentic self and bring as much heart and kindness as you can. And then the last thing is that my brother also said is that he talked about surrender. Sometimes you have a lot of things that are going on. You just got to surrender it. Like we are always trying to control things. And did I read that one quote I'm going to reread this one quote that I had shared a while back. You are afraid of surrender because you don't want to lose control, but you never had control. All you had was anxiety.
Yep. Yeah.
That cuts deep.
So deep.
Yeah. And then the last thing my brother also said you don't have to defend your truth. You don't have to defend your truth. He said all you're doing is sharing truth, and you don't have to defend your truth.
You don't have to defend it.
So
we don't have to defend it. It can just be the truth. I love it. Nick,
So
we're so happy to have you getting in the tail end.
Welcome, Nick. So when you're talking about these difficult conversations and stuff, like you're just sharing truth. You're just sharing truth. And it made me think about the Captain Marvel quote. I wrote it above my board. I have nothing to prove to you. And that has really been sticking with me. I think sometimes we work so hard. And what are we trying to do? Prove our value and our worth and that we're somebody to somebody else. I'm telling you all right now, you have nothing to prove to anybody. Nobody. Nope. Not even yourself. You have nothing to prove to anybody. So release that. Release that stress and that pressure.
I like that. Not even yourself part. That's good. It's just there. It's just there. I love it. But this is a 2-part question. What's your wisdom? What are you watching? What are you watching?
Get on Uppers.
Have you had any time for TV?
Not at all. I watched 20 minutes of something while I was eating something last night. And I was like, well, that's what I'll report on. But get on Uppers. Are you watching anything? Do you have any recommendations? Shout it out into your device. Renee, what are you I don't know, reading an article about, or like you saw in passing, or like what are you watching?
Yeah, what is happening? What is happening? No, my watching is Dollface. We'd love it. It's great. We're having a good time with it. And then up next will be Better Things has their 4th season, and Maisel. Those are just like my cozy shows that I'll be hopefully watching this weekend.
Okay. I didn't think we're going to the future. I could have done that because last night I watched I watched 20 minutes of The Girl Before, which is a miniseries, a British miniseries, but it's starring Black people, which I love because Black people do exist in. They do exist in the UK. It's starring Gugu Mbatha-Raw. You've seen her in things. She's amazing. David Oyelowo, who is in Selma, played Martin Luther King Jr. Jessica Plummer. Ben Hardy, who looks suspiciously like Tom Hardy. So I'll have to double check and see
what's going on there. All right.
But it's sort of like a suspense. It's like a mystery suspense, not a thriller, but it is sort of like, ooh, what's going on? There's just some sort of like spooky mystery sort of thing that's happening. Kind of maybe like Girl on the Train from the Woman on the Window sort of situation.
Right.
But it's really, I'm making my way through that. This weekend, I'm looking forward to looking at The Dropout. The Dropout starring Amanda Seyfried about Elizabeth Holmes.
All right.
Fooled everybody. I love a cult and a con. I love a cult and a con. So
you do. I think both of those will be there. It'll be fun. It'll be fun for you. Well, Jam, we've done it. We have made it to the end of yet another episode. We did it.
Time flies when you're talking to Renee Colbert, the best person in the world.
Jam, best person in the world. And Get On Uppers, we're so happy to have you here. Thank you for tuning in. Great news. We're back tomorrow. We are here every weekday from 7 to 9 Pacific time, from 8 until 10 Mountain time, from 9 until 11 Central time, and from 10 until 12 Eastern time. And tomorrow is Thursday. It's our Thirsty Thursday. So we're going to be telling you all the things in the news that we're thirsty for. And Jim, right here, like, are we going to do your accidental thirst traps? Is that what we decided?
I'm taking over accidental thirst traps tomorrow. I got bumped last week. I don't remember what happened, but
we had some technical difficulties.
We've got a women's history quiz on us about the history of women's history, so we're really excited about that. We'll talk about some news that's thriving. We'll play this or that that. And then we'll close out with Thankful Thursday. I love a Thursday. I love it. We go
What
thirsty, we go thankful, we go
Thank you.
thriving. We
All
love
the
it.
things you need on a Thursday. And if you're like, well, I don't want to go to work. I would like to stay here. Don't worry, there's plenty of programming where this came from. Up next is Anthony Davis, followed by that is your pal Hal, and then Mario Smith will be ending the back channel programming for today.
Well, we're gonna end our section for now, so we can get on out of here and let them take over the reins. Remember, you can head on over to www.backchannel.tv, leave a review, let them know how much you love our show, and we'll keep bringing it to you until the internet doesn't exist anymore. And then it's in meta, then it's virtual reality. Ooh, we'll be in your face. But until then, we'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Get on up. I'm James Arthur M.
And I'm Renee Colbert, and you just got on up. Have a great day, everybody.